Hello everyone, and welcome once again to the Heir's Lair. I am your host, aspiring author Jonathan Taylor. As I've mentioned in my social media, links in the description below, on my social media actually, over the past 2 months I've been doing a read-through of the Witcher books, as in these little beings. And over that same 2-month time frame I also did reviews for each of these books. I'll put my card with a playlist right up there. In today's video, I want to give you my impressions of the series as a whole, and I will try to keep this review as spoiler-free as possible. Partly because I like the challenge, partly because I still want to convince people who haven't read the books yet to go out and read them. For those of you who want the TLDW, this is a great series. Not just good, but actually seriously great. It is very engaging. It captivates your attention in very interesting ways, and it knows what to draw your attention to, and how to tell an interesting, dare I even say, climactic story. And I very much recommend it. I can very much say it is worth your time. For those of you who want a more comprehensive overview, let's start with a very simple question. What makes it interesting? What makes it memorable? Well, without going too far into the actual setting, though I will get to that eventually, there are two things about this series that really stand out to me. And those are the great characterization and the immersive world building. I've used the phrase naturalistic chaos again and again over the course of the review series, and for better or for worse, I think this expression is still an apt descriptor. Sapkowski knows his world. He understands how it ticks, and he knows what kinds of manifestations can emerge within it. As a reader, you don't really have that luxury, at least not in the beginning. You just get a little bit of priming, and then Sapkowski just unloads on you. However, because he unloads in a very consistent way, for the most part, you understand what could come next, and are therefore ready when it comes, when something happens again. There are some curveballs thrown at you as the reader every now and again, and these curveballs, for the most part, do act as a lead-in for some new information or for some new facet of the world. There are also times when when these curveballs or the information within them is dropped, never to be heard from again. But those are very rare. And overall, I think this system. Overall, I think he manages to make the system work much more often than it doesn't. And because the setting is so well developed and told in such an immersive way, it becomes quite a bit easier to latch onto the characters within the setting, because they react to everything you see in a similarly natural, similarly believable way, and it is for the most part the reaction you would also have. So the character's surprise is also your surprise, as is their anger, as is their uncertainty, as is their fear, as is their joy. Their reactions to these feelings are also very naturalistic and believable, and because of they also have a very unique way of carrying themselves. And through that combination of elements, you get to know them as you would know people IRL, and that really helps immerse you in the setting, immerse you in the characters, and makes the story more engaging overall. However, because of this more personal, more intimate storytelling style, there is a strange kind of tension that emerges when Sapkowski is trying to tell the larger story of the setting, as in the continent-spanning war. And the main reason for that is that his characters don't actively fight in the war, or for the most part, and so while it is and while you understand why it is important, you're not really given enough about it to where you can really understand what is going on, and that kind of leaves you somewhat frustrated. To an extent, that is deliberate, and I can understand that, because Sapkowski wants to show you that war is bad, and also what makes war bad. Alternatively, he is also trying to expand or advance multiple storylines at the same time. However, in approaching these problems as he does, he muddles and ignores the conflicts most readers are actually that the readers are actually reading this book for, and unfortunately that tension doesn't really isn't always resolved as it should be. It is quite fitting that the two best book in the series either ignore the war almost entirely, The Tower of the Swallow, or treat it with the exact same level of care and attention as every other storyline, The Lady of the Lake. Anyway, given I already mentioned the larger setting, let's talk about that a bit. The continent in general is kind of has the same trappings as late medieval Europe, but there are a few details that are added, altered, or expanded upon, given this is a fantasy setting. Not all of these details revolve around magic, however. They most notably revolve around around monsters. Geralt himself, as a witcher, acts mostly as a monster hunter. So, because it is important for him to know what monsters look like and how they work, it is also important for us to learn that. And this book gives us a lot of information and a lot of great presentation of all the relevant information connected to that. There is a substantial effort made in classifying and cataloging all the monsters in the setting and what makes them distinctive. Pretty much all of them have preferred food and environments, distinctive physiologies, abilities, vulnerabilities, hunting methods, you name it. I think I've said it a few times that Geralt is more craftsman than killer, and this series does an excellent job at showcasing the breadth of his craft and how it becomes even broader or even deeper. And that same level of care and attention carries through to pretty much all aspects of this setting. So aside from that, you also get to see how prejudice develops and manifests, how money gets used and transferred within this society, how laws are passed, how laws are changed, why they change, what the consequences of these changes are, and so on and so forth, with a whole bunch of other things that define the world, including the things that you would think are redundant given that magic exists. But there are also explanations given as to why. Sorry about that. There are also explanations given as to why those particular fields or interests or activities are still relevant, even in spite of magic. And given I've already mentioned it, I have to say, magic and the way it is used are really among the most interesting parts of this world. Maybe not in and of themselves, but more in how they are presented. What do I mean by that? Well, by that I mean that the magic in place is used somewhat extensively, but it is still low key. It is mainly used for conjurings, enchantments, illusions, and potions. While some of these manifestations can be quite complex or long-reaching, the the overall extent, the overall not extent, but the overall spread of magic use is still fairly limited, which is why this world, while it is modern in a lot of ways, uh, is still pretty heavily anchored in a medieval storytelling and frame of mind. As for magic users themselves, they are mainly portrayed as a newly emergent corporate class who, through their background and connections, can rely on a lot of can rely on their benefit from a lot of knowledge and respect that is granted to them. They're also quite insular when it comes to dealing with commoners, and mainly operate as but in highly respected positions, such as medics or royal advisors. Insert dig at capitalist oligarchies here. Oh wait, I should have actually brought something in. I should actually mention something there. Never mind. Let's go further. I have to applaud the fact that there is actually a lot of variance among the mages when it comes to their personality and motivation. So there is a lot of diversity there. So yay, a lot of people can reach that level of discipline. However, one thing they all have in common is that their status allows them to have more freedom than even royalty in some cases, because the mages themselves, or rather their associations are rich. That means they can travel pretty much anywhere at any time. They have less strings attached than basically all other people in the world, and because they wield so much physical power, it's really only other mages that can seriously threaten them. They have no problem amassing any kind of entourage around them, including sexually. So, so yeah, these books, while there are some descriptions of rape in them, they are overall very horny, and very horny in a sex positive way. So of all the characters who are confirmed to be sexually active, pretty much all of them have multiple either confirmed or potential sexual partners. A lot of these relationships, interestingly enough, occur around the same time as well. I'm not saying the characters are poly. I don't think any characters in these books are actually confirmed to be poly, but it's more like the default type of relationship, at least among the characters we do in fact see, is the open relationship. And also there is basically no jealousy in this setting, and sexuality is basically handled as a go whatever and just do your thing kind of deal. That is maybe not authentic to medieval Europe, and also the absence of a continent-spanning organized religion is somewhat atypical. But I will say it does. Help this setting feel more authentic, and it helps engage you that much more. It's not just there to titillate. It is there because it serves a purpose. It is there because it showcases something about maybe not about humanity, but about the people who inhabit this setting. And it is very interesting to talk about and think about. And really, I think that is what this book does best. It gives you a lot. It gives you a lot of things to discuss. It gives you a lot of things to ponder about. And that's not just the things I've mentioned. There are there's a whole slew of other stuff I could talk about, like what are the um, moral consequences and ramifications of all the actions done to and by the main characters, or how quotes from both IRL and in-universe sources that are inserted between chapters enhance the reading experience and prime readers' expectations, or how the dialogue in this series is absolutely teeming with character details, while also being very prosodic, very very interesting to read to by itself, and so many other things that I could just sit here, or rather stand here uh, and talk about for quite a while, maybe even hours. But this video has to end at some point. I have to draw the line somewhere, and that line is go ahead and find, read, and enjoy this series. While it does show its age at various points, given it was written in the mid-90s for the most part, I think the way this book is, or rather this world, is constructed and presented, as well as the ways the storylines unfold over the course of this book, still make it as interesting and engaging and important as it has ever been. It is very much a worthwhile recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award given by the World Fantasy Awards. And yeah, that was it. That was all I had to say about the Witcher series. It was quite an endeavor, not gonna lie. So I'm not gonna take a break from reviews anytime soon, but rather next week I'll bring this channel back to some more familiar stomping grounds. Until then, however, I would like to thank you very much for your attention. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like. If you have something you want to add, the comment section awaits your input. And if you want to see when the next video comes out, then I suggest you go ahead and subscribe, and maybe also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube will ask of you, so you also get notifications, if you please. Until next time, I am Jonathan Taylor, and this has been the Heir's Lair.